We are reviewing the Warburton 8S top with the 7 back bore. So this is a modular mouthpiece, just 2 pieces, and with, I don't know, 8 or 9 turns you can take it apart, and there we have the top and the back bore. The top measures 142. The back bore is also 142. So I have a lot of Warburton parts, and I've never really checked the throat size on all of them to see if they're consistent, if they're always 142. I kind of doubt they're all 142. But at some point we'll probably compare all the Warburton parts I have here and find out what the difference is. So the top, an 8S, means a shallow version of what's supposed to be similar to a Bach 11, so fairly small. And then the 7 is kind of the middle of the road back bore. And I want to measure that first. So we'll turn my caliper on. And that back bore is around 345. Meaning it's kind of the middle of the road. A 310 is small, a 370 is large, 380 is almost impossible to make. So this is right in the middle of the road. And the bowl itself tends to have that characteristic Warburton shape where it's got ledges down the sides and then it slopes in. And the entrance to the throat on most Warburtons is very tight. So we have a tight throat and a very tight entrance to the throat. And I haven't seen too many that give you any other options. So this setup, I would guess, is for someone that has small lips, a small aperture setting, or really just a small frame. And that's because the diameter is so small. Being it's supposed to be an 11 in Bach, I'm going to measure it and see what we really get for the numbers. And it looks like in a standard mouthpiece, it's probably around 614. In a modular mouthpiece from us, a 5mm, looks like it'd be a 540. So it's pretty small. The rim itself is fairly cushioned. It's got some nice radii on the inside and the outside, but there's quite a bit of meat on the top. In other words, there's almost a flat section. That's because it's so tiny that there's a lot of room to do that. And overall, I would say this is for someone who's fairly a small player and may not use very much air. Some suggestions on this type of a mouthpiece: if you could get it in a 150 to a 165 throat, you're probably going to create a much bigger tone, even if you have that real small cup. So that I don't know if that's an option in Warburton, but it would be something to try if it is. So let's play this Warburton. Okay, so it does feel very small. Being that it's an 8S, then it's supposed to be shallow. He makes extra shallow, like an ES, and a lot deeper. It does feel fairly shallow, and I cannot get a real big full tone on it. It has some edge to it, even in the low register. Everything is kind of edgy, and that I always attribute to the Warburton entrance to the throat. It's always so tight going in that it creates that real edgy tone. And what I love about this mouthpiece and a lot of the Warburtons is that they do have some sizzle to them. They can really scream, and a high C sounds like maybe a high G to me, because I normally play on a bigger mouthpiece that doesn't have all that brilliance in the upper register that's going to hurt your ears. I like it. So if I were playing lead, it'd be a good mouthpiece. So I don't need to use a lot of air. It doesn't take a lot of air, and it gets that edge. Man, it's a great edgy sound. However, I would not use it in concert band. I wouldn't use it in the big band setting. If you're playing third or fourth part, there are a lot of places it fits in, a lot of places you may not want to use it. If you needed to change those things, you'd probably change the top. For me, I'd be more like a much, much larger diameter and probably more than the mediums in depth. But the deeper you make that cup on the Warburton size, the more body you'll get to the tone, and the S's are just sizzly, even though it just means shallow.